contemptuous, begging fool of myself!
This contempt, this blatant disrespect.
Contempt coursing through your veins.
Enough. The next man that speaks out will be fined $25 contempt.
Well, Jimmy Jerome, we already got 6 of you boss men in civil contempt.
Something I've said that's caused this.
Find you in contempt, and they can incarcerate.
You know, people have this contempt for money.
Obnoxious man
I ever met. Contemptible.
You can't restrain yourself, Mr. Devereaux. I'll hold you in contempt.
What am I doing in an office making a contemptuous, begging fool of myself when all I want is out there?
Where this is coming from. This contempt, this blatant disrespect.
Oh, something doesn't feel right, Phil. Just let it go. All that blame, contempt coursing through your veins. Just let it go.
Why don't you show me an honest cowboy?
That's enough. The next man that speaks out will be fined $25 contempt of court.
Your Honor, $25 wouldn't pay for...
My name's Jimmy Jerome Davis.
Well, Jimmy Jerome, we already got 6 of you boss men in civil contempt. Would you care to make it 7?
Wrong resentment.
No.
Is there something I've said that's caused this contempt, or is it just things I stand?
You step foot back in Kentucky, they can find you in contempt, and they can incarcerate you. And you ought to know that.
The jet blue. You know, people have this contempt for money because nowadays nobody's allowed to.
Remember, the lady vanishes when she says to him, "You're the most obnoxious man I ever met."
The most contemptible.
Then they fall madly in love.
Also, he never...
In my chambers. And if you can't restrain yourself, Mr. Devereaux, I'll hold you in contempt. Proceed.
Like it's some kind of badge of honor. He flaunts his contempt by directly disobeying a series of direct orders from his commanding officer. When the very best...
Mickey Mouse tap dancing bullshit!
Sabota, I will hold you in contempt.
So I'm walking out of here.
Sorry.
Now.
I'll make them pay. Pay for all their contempt and indifference. No, I'll be gracious.
You don't dare open your trap to anybody else. Your contempt doesn't impress me because you've accepted every...
Strap mit den Öten, sagt that contemptible Epstein. What did he say?
He complained of the persecution of his people.
I know that. He has nothing but contempt for us.
What are you saying? What contempt? You're always exaggerating.
And then we had a meat or a fish. Paulie did the prep work. He was doing a year for contempt, and he had this wonderful system for doing it.
And I got a right to know. What was I shot one another for contempt? What did you do to them?
Let me remind you what the law says. Anyone who shows contempt for the judge or for the priest shall be put to...
It turns into contempt and murder.
We could choose better.
Do you not pay heed to your doctors? Not when they're a bunch of contemptible Victorians. So, what are you...
But a very public 7 days in jail for a very public contempt of court citation.
For protecting sources.
These Parisians, they know nothing but contempt. They refuse to appreciate beauty.
Your Eminence, I think we've just seen a good example of Jesuit contempt for the authority.
But you and I,
think. My job consists of basically masking my contempt for the assholes in charge.
Just try and stop him.
I will treat these paltry interruptions with the contempt they deserve and go on to propose the health...
Debts and liabilities over to the receiver.
What are you dirty contemptible? I'll ring us next time. George, did you hear what that was?
Whilst the other spat the paint onto his direct from his mouth, thereby expressing contempt for society, I believe.